Hello, welcome back to another edition of Swig Corner. I'm your man, Steph Swig, founder and CEO of the Sanctuary, Atlanta's hottest Christian nightclub. I am glad to be here today. I'm excited to give you whatever God's laid on my heart to share with you today. I'm super excited about it. God gave me this a while ago, and I just haven't done it, and I'm just at the point where, for me, I just felt like, well, God, I don't know how else to really tackle this. But then, and there's other stuff that was going on, but it's mostly just me thinking like, God, when I'm saying your word, when I'm sharing your word with people, I'm sharing your thoughts, your heart with people, I want to make sure it's coming from you, not my opinion. So I waited for a long time. At the same time, I'm under the impression like, God, you gave me this word to give to people. When I start talking, you will flow through me. I'm just a vessel. So whatever I'm saying is going to be you speaking through me. And also at the same time, when God gives you something, you got to be faithful over that. I can't, if God gave me an assignment, I have to do that before I can get the next assignment. So I'm asking and I'm expecting God to enlarge my territory and get me or different platforms to do more speaking engagements. I believe that's the direction He has me going. However, I still have to be obedient of every speaking assignment He gives me. If He can't trust me with one small 10-minute speaking assignment, how can I get on platforms? How can I travel? How can I be used if I'm not going to? What kind of tool doesn't just get used? Like, we're vessels. We're designed to be used by God. So here we are. So we're talking about idols, modern day idolatry. And a lot of times when you think about idols, you think about just different items, different like the golden calf and all that kind of stuff that they worshipped in the Bible, and God was not pleased with that. I'm here to tell you that still happens. However, it's in the form of different things. Anything you put allow to come between you and God, anything you put over God becomes an idol. Think about it this way. We're not supposed to worship anything created other than the Creator. So if it's not the Creator, we cannot worship it. It should not come before God. God says, I am a jealous God. Do not have any gods above me. So that means anything you allow to get ahead of you, between you and God, becomes an idol. If you don't recognize that, you will allow it to become an idol, a stronghold over your life. However, for a lot of people, it can be ministry, it could be marriage, it could be marital issues, it could be health issues, it could be issues with your home, it could be all kinds of different distractions. It could be movies, it could be Facebook, it could be knowledge can become an idol, philosophy become an idol, debates can become an idol. It's a million and one things that can become idols, and each one is unique in itself. However, we are here to walk and talk with God. If you think about everything I just mentioned, these are all issues that it's not uncommon that people deal with these things. But it's like sometimes you can go through such an issue that's so serious that it really shuts you down to the point you're not walking and talking with God. You're focusing so much on that problem in the sense it becomes worship. When you worship something, you're constantly acknowledging it before God and letting it take over your entire life. Like I know people who I know people who do this, but I know people. I'm sitting here before you because I've done these things. I've done it. I let the sanctuary become my idol before. I let my marriage become my idol. I let work become my idol. I let all kinds of. I probably let knowledge become my idol. These are all things that are very important, but of course it's supposed to be God first. So if I'm not letting God first, I haven't God first, and those things become idols. And I didn't recognize it at the time until God shared it with me through various scriptures and friends and family, stuff like that. However, I'm here to tell you that's not what God wants for you. So despite your problem, despite how big it is, I understand stepping away and letting God work on you, but not stepping away from God in its entirety. When you start focusing on your problems more than God, of course you lose sight. A lot of these times, these problems are set up to distract you anyway from your calling. But nevertheless, trust God in all that you do and understand that these things are distractions. These are idols. When I say ministry can be an idol, I want you to understand when I say sanctuary is an idol, it's because I focus on the sanctuary more so than I focus on God at different points in my life. Not the whole time, but it's like a lot of times when people think of ministry and serving, for me, ministry was a sanctuary. My calling is a sanctuary, one of them at least. And the thing is, a lot of times me, as well as other believers, we hold ministry, calling synonymous with God. And the thing is, yes, that's stuff you're doing for God, but that's not worshiping God. Everything can become an act of worship. And what I'm saying is like this. I'm a husband and a father. Okay, and I have a relationship with my wife. But if I spend all the time I have doing stuff for her, like working, providing, painting the house, washing the car, and stuff like that, that relationship will soon fail. Not because I didn't put an effort into it, because I didn't put effort into the relationship part of actually having intimate, personal time with her. Same thing with God. When you do ministry, when I say ministry, I'm talking about anything God's giving you to do. When you do that, and you do church or whatever else that it is that you do for God, that's doing a service for God. But that does not replace your personal, intimate time and investment in the relationship. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that when you invest time that you invest time with God. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sure Facebook can become an idol, and I've seen idols become debates over Christian rapper versus non-rappers. Like, all these things are really, really hindering to the growth of the body and the growth of the kingdom. We're here for a purpose. So make sure you're focusing more on God than the problems of this planet, or the issues that seem so dear to you, as far as like debating and Facebook and pleasure and watching movies all the time. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. It's just that when you put it in front of God, your purpose, your calling, your assignments, it becomes an idol. Hands down, that's all I got on that. It's a very simple one. Just want y'all to really think about the idols in your life. Some of us have idols that, when I say knowledge, I'm talking about we so busy seeking knowledge of God, we forget to talk to God and be with God. So as if my daughter had a journal, I'm reading her journal and trying to learn her. But when I can just go and talk to her and spend time with her, spend quality time with her. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you honor your relationship with God. Make sure you spend that time with God. Make sure you don't confuse anything that you're doing for God as an act of your relationship with God. Don't let anything, church, ministry, marital problems, anything, because God is in control of all things. When God is at the forefront, at the center, at the top, everything will align anyway. You'll be in a position to have the balance and the divine guidance, the divine counsel to navigate those waters and to get to where you need to be and become who you are created to be through the trials and tribulations. You get what I'm saying? So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in. The next one, this is idolatry, modern day idolatry. Keep in mind, anything that becomes before God, even if it seems good, everything is supposed to be done in moderation. If you drink too much water, it can kill you. So I just want you to understand that just because it's ministry, just because it's marriage, just because it's children, just because it's all these things, it's a wonderful things, that doesn't mean it deserves more attention than God. God will give you the focus and the guidance and the blessing and the peace that you need to handle every single situation, whether it's family stuff, because I'm always want to say your home is your first ministry, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, but God is my first priority each and every day. And when it's not, then things are out of balance in my life, and therefore I can't do and be the husband, the father, the worker, the co-worker I'm supposed to be. But these things come, and if you don't catch them, they will become your idols. Of course, your husband, your father, you want to provide for your family. You want to work all the overtime you can. You want to do as much as you can to provide for your family, but don't neglect your family. They need you there. They need that influence. They need that covering. They need that prayer. They need that bond, that closeness with you. So make sure you're being everything you can be, everything you're created to be, not doing everything you're supposed to do, but being, living, worshiping. But make sure, do not let anything come between you and God, despite how good it may seem. Even music, sometimes you just have to take a fall back from whatever you're doing and really just focus on being close with God. Fasting is one of those things you have to do too. But I'm just saying, seriously, I can't relate this enough. All these are idols. God is not pleased when you have anything above you. He is the creator. So if you have anything that's coming between you and God that's created, then you're out of order, and then it is an idol. We know how God feels about idols. So make sure you honor him in everything that you do, and he will provide that balance that you need. Of course, he wants you to provide. Of course, he wants you to study. Of course, he wants you to do that. But you always have to weigh your intentions. Why are you, knowledge is a great thing to have. But it should never, ever replace your personal intimacy with the Father. Problems in your household, problems in your marriage, those are wonderful things to address, and it needs to be addressed. But again, you cannot address them by neglecting your creator who manufactured us to do what we are created to do. He go to the manufacturer and he will tell you and show you, guide you, console you, and give you the wisdom on how to fix these situations or what you need to do to fix your situations. Do not ever neglect your relationship with God for nothing. Thank you for tuning in once again. I'm glad y'all tuned in. Thank you so much. We love you. Make sure you tune in to each and every Swig's Corner. If you got any questions, comments, hit me up on the inbox or whatever you want to do. God bless you. Peace.